Hello there, young poets. It's me, Simon Mole. I'm back with your catch up. So if you missed the workshop earlier this month, or if you were there but you just wanted to try out again, or some of the approaches again, then that's what we're here for. And the first thing I'm going to get you to do is a free write. So for 1 minute, you're just going to try and keep your pen or your pencil on the paper, try and just keep it moving. You could write anything at all, even if you write, why is Simon making us write this? Even if a squiggle turns into a word or a word turns into a squiggle, that's fine. Think of this as like your stretches if you're getting ready for football or dancing or a swim or a run or whatever. So time yourself a minute to just write anything down at all and then come back when you're done. Cool. This time, we're going to do another free write, but we're going to give that free write a title, and we're going to say, I like writing poems because. And anytime you can't think of anything to say, you could just write that again. I like writing poems because. You might say it's fun, you can time travel anywhere, you can explore places in your mind, get to write poems with your mates, that's good fun. Means that people can listen to you if you write something down that's interesting. Sometimes I find writing makes me feel better if I'm a bit grumpy or a bit cross or a bit sad or something. So that was one of the ideas that I came up with. Yeah, okay guys, so time yourself for another minute, but this time you're writing, I like writing poems because. Quality. So what I want to know now is, where do your ideas arrive from, or where do you think they come from? So that might be like a lightning bolt into your brain, or it might be something a bit more everyday, like just when you're doing your washing up, or when you're in the shower, or you can't sleep, or walking by the river, or you don't know where they come from. So where do you think your ideas come from? Where do you get your inspiration, I guess? Pause the video to note down a few ideas for that one, and then hit play when you're ready to move on. Cool, so now you're gonna write, my words can. I want you to know what your words can do. Can they move mountains? Can they make people cry or giggle? Or can they change the world? Can they change my mind, your mind, people's minds? Can they make you dance? Can they build a bridge or burn a castle? Can they give you superpowers? Can they teleport you? Who knows? My words can. Pause the video now to get a couple of ideas down and then hit play when you're done. Okay, but sometimes it doesn't always flow so smoothly, does it? So what happens when you get stuck? I want you to write, when I get stuck, I. So what does it feel like when we don't have an idea, or we're not sure what to write, or we don't really like what we're writing? What do you do when that happens? Or what does it feel like when that happens? Sometimes I have to admit I scrunch my paper up or give up. Sometimes I get a bit worried that I'm never going to have another idea that I like, or I feel like a knot of frustration, or I leave it for a bit and then come back another time. Just play computer instead, go for a walk. But sometimes when I do move away from it, that's when another idea does come. So whether or not that's the right thing to do, who knows? I guess the right thing is whatever you feel at the time. So when I get stuck, I. Pause the video now to get a few thoughts down. Hit play when you're done. Cool. This time we're looking for a comparison, a simile. Writing a poem is like, what might it be like? Scoring a goal, hugging a friend, baking a cake, building a house, sweeping some leaves, painting the lines on the road but in multicolour, hoovering a sandpit, running a bath in the dark, filling a bath with sweet corn. I don't know. Writing a poem is like. Pause the video to tell me that on your page and then hit play when you're ready to move on. Great. My poems remember. That's going to be your sentence starter this time around. So maybe you think of a special time that you will never forget, a memory that you want to preserve or keep safe. I was thinking about my grandpa sat by the fire, or I was thinking about celebrating this particular goal that Arsenal scored in a cup final when I was about 7 or 8, and I was watching it at my dad's. and I was like swinging my scarf around my head, and then I smashed my dad's girlfriend's light. So when I was doing this as a little practice, for some reason that came into my head, so I put my poems, remembered that. There's no wrong or right with this one at all, or with any of them, in fact. My poems remember. Pause the video now, note that down, and then hit play when you're ready for the next one. Okay, my poems have a rhythm like... What do your poems have a rhythm like? Obviously each one may be different, but just enjoy thinking of some options. A rhythm like the rain, a rhythm like distorted heavy metal guitar in a stadium, a rhythm like the click of a snooker cue, the whir of a bike wheel, the sneeze of a squirrel. I don't know. My poems have a rhythm like... Pause the video now to get some thoughts down. Come back when you're ready. All right, how do your poems feel? I know a poem can't feel, but let's just pretend we're in that zone now. How do your poems feel when people listen to them? And then maybe what do they do to celebrate that feeling? If they feel good, or maybe they feel shy? Do they feel valued, loved, excited, grumpy? Do they do a little salsa dance at the library disco? Do they pull the page over and hide? Who knows? What do your poems feel like when people listen to them? Pause the video to have a think about that and note some of your ideas down, and then hit play when you're ready for our last one, in fact, yes. Okay, so for this one, we're thinking about place. Where does your poetry live? Or where is it hiding? Or where is it at home? Okay, one way that I thought to think about this is, you think of, this is quite a tricky one to explain. So I reckon what I might do with this, some ideas I had were like beneath the dusty shelf of the motorway, behind the open eyes of the page, under the stained yellow mug of the moon, around the corner from the crumpled green screen of the world. But the way that I cooked those up was, first of all, I just came up with a list of connecting like place words: around, next to, behind, between, under. And then I came up with what I call big picture words like flower, field, tree, sky, grass, night, house, motorway. And then I came up with some slightly more detailed ones like crumpled brown trousers, or wilting houseplant, or dirty shoe doormat or something, yeah? And then you kind of just mash them together. So like next to the dirty doormat of the pavement. So you kind of, it doesn't necessarily have to make sense, but you might find one that feels like it makes sense in some way and is a bit of an interesting image. I'll make sure that under this video in the Patreon post, there's a list of examples for each of those categories so you can see how I started to put them together. So maybe pause the video if you want to have a look at that now, then great. If not, you could just say where your poetry lives. Either way, pause to have a little go and then come back when you're ready to finish your poem. Okay, cool. So as ever, what you're going to do now is have a look at your answers, and you might find you really like them in the order they're in. Brilliant, you feel like you're finished. But as I always say, usually at this point, I make a few changes. I look at the material that I've got, and I think I like that bit, I don't like that bit. Maybe I even do a bit more writing about one thing that's particularly interested me, or I take quite a lot of it out, or I find one line I really like to repeat it. If you're stuck, you don't know what to do next, just pick your favorite line and make that your first line. Maybe it'll even be your last line as well. Who knows? But essentially, you're just arranging what you got in an order that sounds good. But if you want to, you can add to it and take bits out, etc., etc. Once you're done, I would love to read it. Please put it as a comment under the Patreon post, and hopefully I'll see you at the live workshop at the start of May. Nice one. Take care, guys.